The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge presents an international homeschool program that offers African heritage, biology, astronomy, language arts, yoga, and much more. Our classes are created with the young ones in mind, and we cater to youths from kindergarten to high school. Children love our colorful and very animated lessons, while parents recommend it to friends and family. Contact us for a free preview and see for yourself why investing in the International Homeschool Program will be of great benefit to you and your young ones. Bless you. Blessed love each and every one. Give thanks for your presence with us. Of course, we glorify the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. I give thanks for your presence with us. We are live here on Radio Anu. Of course, that's the international flavor, the universal spice. And give thanks for each and every one wherever you may be internationally. Remember, you could definitely visit our website, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. Well, that's the email. PriestIsaacInstitute.com is the website, and definitely you will get all the information you need as it relates to that international homeschool program. Definitely fully equipped right about now. I'm talking about so much information for the young ones, so much inspiration for the old ones as well, from your astronomy to your African history and heritage. Of course, yoga. Who definitely doesn't need some yoga in their life? Biology, even for the young minds, getting them prepared for the higher stages as it relates to knowledge. And before I go into the subject area I want to touch upon tonight, let me just remind you to check out Rastafari Experience Antigua, specifically on TripAdvisor. I know many ones are contemplating coming and visiting us for the spring equinox, which will be coming up from the 16th to the 22nd of March this year. The 16th to the 22nd of March, spring equinox, 7 wonderful days of marvelous activities. Of course, the double hike degree in Castle Hill, and of course the island tour. And then when it comes down to the cannabis tour, those of you who want to see what's going on here with the cannabis, where you can lick your chalice and don't have to wonder about the boys in blue coming to you. The real thing. Yeah, and of course, so many other things we have in store for you. Those of you who will be coming in March, you'll be witnessing the prize giving ceremony for our essay competition. Hey, all you got to do is check us on TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor.com, Rastafari Experience Antigua, of course. And of course, you don't have to wait until that day. You don't have to wait until the solstice or the equinoxes or any of these mighty events. You could just come through at any time at your leisure, as I said, right here in Wadadley. Now, I want to somewhat dovetail off of the previous conversation that we had on Rastafari Roundtable, Rasta Roundtable. And of course, everyone knows what that discussion was, because it has created a hot debate as it relates to Haile Selassie being alive. Now, what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to be bringing to you an audio of Mr. Colonel Mengistu saying to an interviewer that he was not the one that would have brought Haile Selassie to his demise. Not these exact words, but this is what he's trying to say. So this now, you may be saying, so who can believe him? I'm not going to say that he's the most trustworthy person in the world, but for sure, you just listening to it and even observing it, for those who have seen it, it's obvious. You could see that, hey, the man know what he's saying, at least when it comes to that specific subject area. But anyway, before we get there, this is what I'm saying. You see, one of the reasons why we organized the Rasta Round Table is to bring to the table intelligent conversation, subject areas that we would have to revisit again and bring it on a more academic level to the table. So that's why we started the whole shebang with should Haile Selassie be worshipped? That's why we went into the subject of evolution. That is why we are now speaking of mythology and history. We did that program as well. And the previous program we did really was dovetailing from mythology and history into the history of Haile Selassie I and what is myth and what is reality. So the program was not necessarily designed to go into Haile Selassie if he's alive or if whatever the case is. That was not where the program was designed to go. It just so happened that it went there. But the program was designed that evening to look at the history of Haile Selassie and to bring out events that many of us as Rassis, when we came into the thing as Rastafari, is a lot of things came to us as facts. Ganja is found growing on the grave of King Solomon. The man that sing about that. Ganja, marijuana is found growing on the grave of King Solomon. You never hear that? All right. Who can tell me exactly where the grave of King Solomon is? If it is known, it is not something that is well publicized. I've never even seen a documentary saying, well, this is the spot where they buried King Solomon. Because, you know, the academics now, we're going to come up and say, well, you know, King Solomon never really existed. So for people like them, they're going to want to know what you're talking about. You understand? So what I'm saying is that we heard about that ganja growing on his grave. But then now, where's the grave? And me personally, I'm not saying that in the sense as if it's some sort of sarcastic way to mock Solomon's existence. You know, remember, I don't follow the line of what everybody thinks. I take my time and come to my conclusion. And I've done almost all these questions that come up every day, you know, and I have done programs, webinars, seminars, clear cut. Sometimes you hear conversation, you don't join in, people think you don't have an opinion on it when you have done series on the whole subject area. And I'm speaking of the existence of Solomon. So, but my point is, the Solomon, whether he was Solomon, 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 or Ra'aman, where is the grave where the ganja grows? That's my point. I'm not arguing or questioning his existence. I'm questioning the grave where the ganja grows. So the point I'm making is that is something that we as races in the early days took as stamp it with the seal, history, that ganja grow on King Solomon grave. No, that may be so, but where's the grave? But we can't just admit that, and we don't take the requisite steps to come to that proper, you know, conclusion. My thing about the emperor drawing the bird on the paper, Rasses, you know that one, right? The emperor drew a bird on the paper and the bird flew off. Now, what I'm saying, in one of the books that were taken out of the Bible, it speaks about Christ carving a bird out of wood, because you know Joseph was a carpenter, and that same bird fly off. There's this other story about making a bird out of clay, and the bird fly off. So now I don't have a problem with them stories, especially making it out of clay and carving it out, because what? To me, those are allegories. Those are symbolic messages of something greater. That's how I've learned to deal with these things. So I'm not going to say, boy, you believe them something. No, no. I'm accepting them, even though Shakespeare would have had a hand in translating them. We know all of this. We're dealing with knowledge, wisdom, which is wise mind, and understanding, which is understanding and overstanding and comprehension. We're dealing with all three, not just knowledge. We're not trying to be wise and understand everything, but we don't know nothing. No, we got to work together. And I'm taking my time to explain this so we can move on as rational thinking individuals, especially you young rasses walking into a lot of this debate. And in from my perspective, a lot of fanciful thinking too. That's why I bring these conversations to the table so Rasta man and woman can kill the fanciful thinking. So now, drawing a bird and the bird become flesh and fly off the paper. I mean, it's nice to believe that, eh? Give thanks, I understand. That would just, supersize the power. Listen, we don't have to make up nothing to supersize the power of the emperor. Listen, I come to love the emperor, eh? The living human being emperor with clear understanding so much. That is why I start to seek out all them extra things properly to make sure that, hey, we don't want no make-believe story interfering with the truth. Make-believe mash up the truth, yo. You want something make-believe so it sounds, wow, yeah, you walk on the cloud. Whoa, we don't want none of that. Unless something goes up. So I have not come to the conclusion that I could believe that a bird, what we call this two-dimensional figure on a paper, would somehow become three-dimensional, and all aspects of, cells and sinews and tissue and muscles and bones and everything just come together, and feathers and just fly off that paper. Sounds nice. Sounds good. Maybe you have to try a little more harder to convince me of that one. But for now, the jury is still out. Yeah, no. The jury has come to a decision. The jury don't check for that. The jury is in. Right. And that doesn't take away nothing from the goose and the gas. What you take away? What does it take away if the bird never really fly off the paper? What that take away? The one when he threw the apple up in the air and cut it into 12 pieces, 13 pieces, and 12 drop on the floor, and one stick in the sword. Because I know and I tend to create some things around the emperor that are a little beyond what the reality is. It makes you consider that one. But I can tell you, I don't doubt that. Maybe that ain't nothing. That's simple. You see, that's in a different realms than drawing a bird on a paper and it flying off the paper. What's the definition of miracle? If miracle means something that is not natural, but it just happened, well, that's a miracle. But cutting an apple in 13 pieces and sticking one is not necessarily a miracle. It takes a lot of skill precision. And we have seen so many skilled people done so many skilled things. Things that make you say, wow. Not no magic trick. Not smoke and mirrors. So I believe that there is that ability to throw an apple up in the air and cut it in 4 pieces and stick one. No, yeah, but it's 12 pieces. Hold on, I get into my point. So the fact that you can throw an apple up in the air, in fact, hold on. Do you believe a master swordsman? Do you believe a master swordsman can throw an apple up in the air and cut it in 2 and stick one with the sword and the other one drop on the ground? Do you believe that? I mean, nobody gonna tell me no. All right. So if he can do that, that means if he trained hard enough, he can cut the same apple into 4 pieces and stick one with the apple and 3, the sword, pardon me, and 3 drop on the ground. Do you believe that? Okay. I don't even have to go no more. That means that the scenario that is put on the table, 12 drop on the floor and 1 stick in the sword, it's obviously much, much harder. But with enough practice, I'm sure it can be pulled off. That's my point with that. Now, is that to say that's what happened? I cannot personally answer that. We ain't know everything, but we know enough to know that, okay, that sounds real. That's the emperor, Haile Selassie, the first we're talking about. Skillful in martial arts, skillful in yoga, skillful in Tai Chi, Zen meditation. That's Negus Nagas. That's why when they say he disappeared, that's not no big thing. Like, you believe that. So, okay, what you believe? What you believe? Mengistu smother him? We have Mengistu line up to tell you not to go so soon. Just hold on. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. I'm trying to make a point for those who want to learn. Not for you who know it already. But those who sincerely want a comprehension and an understanding to all of this. You see the story about the emperor putting his foot on the bar. We all see that in pictures. But when we get this story, and we can't be coming down so hard on even some of the elders. Some of them ain't no historians. They would have heard it in its original form, but it just come out the next way, boy, the emperor. The man drop a bomb in the yard and the emperor put his foot on the bomb and it couldn't explode. And you hear different variations of the same story. And again, that's why we diligently have these programs with myth and reality. And I even mentioned, the whole aspect of taking a historical story and bringing it to a legendary status. But anyway, let me not stay on them kind of points right now. But now, there's reality in the story. It may not be like me, first time I hear it, I think the Ras said that the king jump over the wall. You know what I mean? And then put his foot on some real vibes. What it was is that for whatever reason, some of the bombs that fell did not explode. And the emperor asked for them to be collected into one pile, one heap. And he asked for the photographer to come and take the picture. If you've ever read the book, The Formative Years by Harold G. Marcus of Haile Selassie. In that book, an account is given of the photographer that took the picture of Haile Selassie foot on the bomb. Now, as you can see, in that picture, for those who've seen the picture, there are several people around the emperor, his son and other people. So it was a Kodak moment. They posed for the picture there. It is said that, and you remember, no, this is the days when they had the gunpowder stuff on top of the platform and you light it and it poof, give this flash of light, and then the picture is taken. It is said by the time that the gunpowder said poof, the photographer, I guess he would have already pressed the button. But challenging the speed of light, at least the speed of sound, he was already, at least 30-something, 40-something feet away from the scene while the picture is being taken. This means that it was a tense situation. Not because he didn't jump over the fence and land on the bomb. That doesn't take away the magnitude of the situation and the moment. Men quake when the king say, put all the bombs them together. Man will say, like, what? Even the account showed that these bombs were still in a position to explode. You don't think the genius of the emperor know that? The emperor said, put them together, call the cameraman. The picture went international. That's why we revere it today. So when I read that, I said, man, this is more valuable than jumping over the wall. This is why we don't need to add in no extra preservative and them things. Nothing needs to be preserved. It will preserve itself. It gets better with age, but from the time you put in preservative, do you know honey cannot spoil? Is when you mix honey with other things. If you throw water on honey, the honey will spoil. Water. So we don't need to add anything to the reality of the emperor. And I can go on with other stories, but I want to get to the point now with Mengistu. And this obviously has to do back to the conversation that I was having with Ras Isern and Brother Ankoba Dread. The presence of Haile Selassie I. Now, let me say something before that. You see, as even Ras Isern was talking about the African concept of God. Man, just to talk about the African concept of God, you gotta even leave the word God out of it sometimes because they're done mashing stuff. It's more than the African concept of God, it's the African concept. Bam. The African concept. Full stop. And the African concept is the all. Family, that's what it is. This cheap God stuff we talking about is the all. The all. The Almighty is in all. Come to that understanding. Don't separate nothing from the Almighty. Every living thing of which there's life. And when I say living, I'm not talking about organic and inorganic and one alive and one dead. Nothing goes up. Everything down to the stone. Well, we're trying to see if there's life on Mars. Life on Mars, Mars alone is alive. What you talking about? What do you call life? People? The Almighty, the all, the intelligent nucleus, I like to refer to quote unquote God as. The intelligent nucleus that governs all that is. And when I say all that is, seen and unseen. In every realms of the spiritual world that exists that we can't even nearly begin to speak about. All 11 dimensions, all parallel worlds and all of these things, wherever there is anything, there is a one governing spirit that governs it all that we call God. Any disagreement there? God is life. Life. That's why I always say it's not my life and your life and mine, you lose your life. And it's life. We're all sharing life. That's why I tell you, death is not the opposite of life. Death is the opposite of being born. They're all in the cycle of life, which is one thing. Life never go nowhere. We're all sharing life. Life is God. That's why life looks like love and live, because God is love. Just like God is good, it's a real thing, etymologically speaking. God, goose, goth, good, gut. But God is love. Let us all love. God is love because God is life. Life, L-I-F-E, life. We all sharing the life. That's why God is in all of us. Not just God, the Almighty is in all of us. Listen to me, good family. The Almighty is in me and the Almighty is in you. In life, in every living thing, because we're all expressing the Almighty, every planet, every this, every that, everything, light and water and sound. The Almighty. Okay, fair enough. So, all right, I get all of that. Sounds good. So, how does that differentiate between you now and the neem tree outside? Because you said the neem tree is God too, and God dwells in it and all of that stuff. I get you. So, how do we differentiate between the neem tree and you as a human being? You know, how come Selassie come God and get not the neem tree then? How is it is he Haile I Selassie I? Why you never say Haile I neem tree I? And go, put me straight now, Ras. Let me understand where you're coming. Because your philosophy sound good, you know. But bring it home. Bring it home. Yes, of course. It's all understanding. So this is why now when you hear some people argue that this person or that person, no one person, even racists will tell you this, no one person can be God. You know, they'll give you the right title and say, well, you're the this and you're the that, and you rank here, there, and you did this, but to say you are like the God and it's you, no, that's impossible. Because no one person can hold God. Okay. So what can hold God, by the way? That's the next question. Which one, anything or anything at all can hold God, as we call God? So we have to make our minds think, you know, Father. We have to think. Think. I understand the concept, but we don't have to start to limit God now. We understand. You see, the thing with Haile Selassie is that with our intelligence coming out of thousands of years of civilization, from my personal priest Isaac talking to you now, research and study, not just Bible, deep research. We have always echoed the coming of a key figure and figures. That's why you see we do them documentary, a pedimec. How many of you check out a pedimec? How many of you have ordered a pedimec for yourself? Crickets. The Master of Ceremonies, Seven, The Night of the Black Tiger. All of these documentaries highlight going back ancient of times, the ancient of days, prophecies, glyphs, uh, esoteric writings, mythology, mythos, speaking of a key figure that should come. Everything points to Haile Selassie, just to cut it short. Everything points to the King of Kings. Nobody can deny that. Even the constellations, the heavenly movements, we livicate our life to proving this, no man. The heavenly movements, every monument, every pyramid, everything. Bing! Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Undeniable. Well, okay, yeah, you're right, but this is a Ras talking now. Oh, yes, you're right, yes, Rasta man. I know. But that don't make him the Almighty, because no one person can be the Almighty. That surely make him the Most High. Huh? That make him the Most High. So if we're gonna get into the language now, and we getting into semantics, the Almighty, from your definition, is different than the Most High. How that comes so? No, remember, the Almighty is in everything, right? That's what is being said. You can't see no Almighty. No one person can be the Almighty. Isn't that the theory? Come on, most of you carry that theory. Isn't that the theory? No one person can be no Almighty. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because see, even just to say that, it shows a level of us even denying the power of the all in all. Yeah, man. That's why when they see the King of Kings, Haile Selassie, enough of them say, wait, that little man there? Wait, that little man, as if he's supposed to be bigger. He's too small. The voice too. That's him. No man looking for a deeper voice on earth, right? Yeah, that's how we see it. So when we talk about God, God is bigger than the highest mountain. Which highest mountain? What you call highest mountain? Them little bumps you have on this little planet you call it highest mountain? You see how you compare God? You're comparing the Most High to your levels. So to you, the vastness of the ocean is something big. So you can compare God to the vastness of your little swimming pool on this little marble that we're on. You don't have to measure, man. Whatever size. 5'2", that's big to a little rabbit, yo. You see, that's how we're thinking. So what? That little man there? The Most High. The Most High. The language alone shows you that you have, to use the term, a list of credible ones. This is why the Most High is referred to as what? What's another term they call the Most High? Listen to this here. The Lord of Hosts. Listen, family. The Lord of Hosts is the Most High. So when you have a Most High, you have a second Most High and maybe the third Most High, however the rank goes. But this one here is the Most High. So who's higher than the Most High? I want you to get this maths good enough. Who is higher than the Most High? They have others underneath the Most High. And keep in mind, the Most High is the Lord of hosts. Now, the whole host, and the trees in the forest, and the foxes in the wherever, and the seal, and everything that is life on planet Mars and Jupiter and the next galaxy, the Almighty dwells in everything that's alive. The Almighty, all over every rock that makes up the rings around Saturn. There is life. The Almighty is within it. But Saturn is not the Most High. None of the rocks on Saturn is the Most High, although the Almighty dwells on Saturn. The Almighty dwells in Jupiter. The Almighty dwells in the lily, in the pond. The Almighty dwell in the fish. The Almighty dwell in you. Are you the Almighty? By yourself? Okay. Are you the Most High? Oh. Follow me in the family. So what I'm saying is that the Almighty obviously is just as the term says, the all in all. The Almighty is the all in all. Every living thing, we all make up that Almighty. Is not no make-believe God. It's not nobody behind no cloud. It's not nothing outside of you. It is within life itself. This existence, consciousness, is that God figure that many of you speak about. And you see, when you stop separating yourself from it, then you start to see the power within it. Now, I'm saying again, in creation, you have birds, you have fish, you have mammals, you have the heavenly hosts. And over the heavenly host, which obviously is the highest parliament in the universe, you have the chairman, which is the Most High. So don't come and ask me, oh, where was Haile Selassie before 1892 when he born? Oh, he have a daddy and he have a mommy, and yeah, so how you can be God? God have daddy and mommy. Them is kindergarten talk. That's not even kindergarten. We teach high education in kindergarten. That's somebody else's school you're bringing to me. That's not African in its outlook. Haile Selassie is the Most High. You better believe. Who higher than Haile Selassie? There's no who, it, nothing. Let me tell you this. There's nothing you can bring that I can see. In fact, not even in the invisible world. Nothing. No saint, no angel that you can call their names, no ancestor, nothing. No whale shark, nothing you can call in my book. Please pardon my passion. That is higher than Haile Selassie. Nothing, nobody, nothing, future, past, present. You hear me? That's me saying so. Because that is the Most High. That's the Lord of hosts in my book. And to me, every prophecy, because I've dug deep, I think I have a catalog to prove what I say in here. All prophecy, glyphs, stars, even the way the wind blows, point to the Maui Haile Selassie. A boy would be nuts to even challenge that. Now, let's move on again. You see, the reason why I and I have become afraid of what people call death now, the putting down of the structure, because we have been separated from the African concept, not of God, the African concept. You see, the European concept is so fanciful, so afraid of the other realms, not even knowing where they're going, that this thing about death, I mean, we understand there's certain ways that you leave this realm that is obviously not good, tragically and all of that, and everyone wants to preserve life. That's why Rasta don't talk about no death. We need them things, talk them that come up too much nowadays in conversation. We talk of life. It's life we talk about. Life. Life. The time you're concentrating on that, you should be concentrating on life. That's why it's not no big discussion. Let me just put it this way. Whatever happened, happened, but we're not looking forward and planning. Life. Life. Even in our discussions, you've heard us talk about this. Not that we turn a blind eye. Even I and I need to create ourselves in a more structured way. That even when those amongst us lay down the structure, we can handle it better than how it's handled by the world. And I'm not just talking about pass and sending you home in Jesus' name. I'm talking about even the funeral home, taking your organs and stuffing you with paper. So you see where I am with that. So don't, but let me stick to the conversation at hand. So the concept of laying down this biological flesh that the spirit is using was never nothing frightening to us. It's nothing to worry about. We live healthy, so we keep away sickness and disease because we know it's life. You go to war, you go to battle, we try not to go to war, but if we have to go to war, we go to war. Sometimes some of us go down in battle, we give thanks. We understand that. Martyrs, you call them people. We preserve this goodie for hundreds of years. We reach a time where 100+ years seem to be a lot, but I know this goodie can be preserved for many, many centuries too. It's just natural. It was designed. The sea turtle all almost clocking 300 years. A turtle, eh? Yeah. Our environment alone would cut down ages off of you. But even if you could live to be 10 million years old, hear me, even if you could live to be 10 million years old, the fact that the physical will sometimes or at some time rest itself down and go back to the earth, that's not nothing to be afraid of or to get frightened about. Old man in his bed and his family around him and his great grandchildren, and he say, well, I live a good life. 110 now. I don't have no headache, but I feel like the Father calling me as they do, I mean, 110 is still little age. But what I'm saying is that we as ancient Africans, we understand that. It's just like a tree. The tree lived to be thousands of years, but the tree will wither away one day. That's why I said, even if you live to be a million, the structure, the physical structure going back to the earth was nothing frightening about. There's nothing frightening about it for us. Yeah, it's frightening today because they're going to take the same physical and put it in this box. You see, we robbing the earth. We robbing the earth. Old people around here used to say, bury them in a saltfish box. I think it's also called a pine box. But the science is that that box rots away after a while. So it rots with the physical carcass. So the carcass is literally transferred back to the earth. It's just a natural thing. I always use this example of when you defecate. When you defecate, you're free up, your stool, your feces, supposed to go into the earth, You're supposed to dig a hole. That's the earth, that belongs to the earth. Whatever made that feces is the earth you got it from, even if it is an animal. You got it from the earth and you eat it, and then you're gonna put it in a toilet. Toilet get all the waste. And then we stuff it into some sort of sewage system that throw it in the sea, or like in the Caribbean, we have these septic tanks that just, I don't even want to go into that. But what I'm saying is that the earth, this is just how God, as we call God, creation created the earth. That the animal give back the earth, the manure, the fertilizer for the earth. So we robbing it with our civilization. We robbing it. And it's the same way with the physical carcass. So just the system of dealing with quote unquote the dead is robbing the earth. You want to put it in a gold casket. You're running a Tutankhamun now. So what I'm showing you, family, is that as Africans, the main point is that that was never nothing frightening. Some people believe in, they have stories of people dying and coming back. I know some of you go into a lot of different studies. I always hear people say, no one has ever died and come back. Well, I'm not saying that they have, but I know there are many accounts of people saying that they were gone and back. But there's this story about this African, Simeon Toko. I think I did a program on him. Was it on the radio station here in Antigua? Or I think it was a radio program. I don't think it's on YouTube. I did that. Trying to remember. But anyway, but I would have touched it. They would have killed him a couple of times and he keep coming back. This is an African, Simeon Toko or Tico, something like that. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. I'm not swearing on no one. I'm just giving you accounts of some mystic things that would have happened. But even if a person was to die and come back, just as I would take a page from Brother Ison's book. What does that prove? You may say, what does that prove? No, but hold on. The point I'm making, even if you have someone that you consider a great figure or even a Messiah, and he pass on, and he decide not to come back alive, that don't take away nothing from him or her. That don't take away in the African frame of things. He ain't gotta come back alive for us to put the last stamp on him to say, okay, definitely no. No. Mm-mm. Not because this one come back to life and that one don't come back to life, mean no one that come back to life greater. No, we don't need, we as Africans, our ancient concept didn't need all of that. Not because we say Osiris come back to life. It means something else. And that was fulfilling Haile Selassie the first. He did come back to life in the sense that the prophecy meant. Wow, this is deep, man. I come into Mengistu, man. This is not an entertainment program, you know. This is edification. I come into that. Don't rush me. There are those who sincerely want to understand this and they're listening keenly. Some people listening and they're talking over me and talking to somebody else and gone on the phone. Trust me, there are people listening to me that lock off the phone when I talk. So I respect them. So don't rush me. I talking to them. If you're pot on the fire, go and check for your rice, yo. I talking to those who would have locked off the stove because it's school time. Yeah, man, it's gold we dropping here now. We don't play with it. Straight up. When we done, you're supposed to say, yeah, I understand. Understand and overstand. Straight up. Gotta be clear. Don't rush the brush. So I'm saying now, yeah. So we as Africans, that's no big problem to us. Some people learning this for the first time. We as Africans, that's no big deal. It's the cycle of life. It's just natural. And we understand reincarnation too. Even in the Bible, Christ told them when they were asking about Elijah coming back, he said, Elijah done come and gone. John the Baptist was his name. Reincarnation. The martyrs under the altar in Revelation said, when shall we return to get vengeance on our enemy? Say just a little while, you're going back. Remember, these are martyrs, people that would have died. How they going back? As ghosts? Reincarnation. Yeah. So now, Haile Selassie. And my stance on Haile Selassie is such. This is the King of Kings. I know I just explained all what I say with the Almighty and the Most High and so, eh? But for me to explain what I'm going to say, I have to go all around the world again, and I don't want to go through that. But Haile Selassie, in my book, right, is the Almighty God. I know you're going, but King, I didn't say nothing. I was rationalizing how people look at things. I know what I mean when I say so, eh? And that coming from my heart, the Almighty God, not just no Most High. Haile Selassie I talking about, and not just no Most High. I don't care what you say. That's the Almighty I. Now, and that's from an African point of view, not from a Eurocentric point of view. Very good. Now, what I'm saying, and the reason why I'm happy we're going to be highlighting what Mengistu said, is because what happened after the 12th of September 1974 is not something that history has given a proper account of. I want you to hear me, good family. What happened after the 12th of September 1974 is not something that history has given a proper account for. What do you mean? We all know that the Derg took over Ethiopia at that time, that very day. And we know that the emperor was taken to some private facility and kept under, let's say, detention or arrest. And this is good for you to know historically, you know. Remember, enough people get massacred in Ethiopia now. the whole parliament and cabinet and who didn't get away, get slew, eh? Oh man, it was a real bloodbath. The Green Saloon, eh? Yeah, man, real bloodbath. But accounts have shown that not even a hair on the emperor's head was harmed. Now, it has a lot to do with just the Ethiopian culture, you know. I mean, you're not gonna rough up the emperor, especially the dignified Haile Selassie the First. So it's nothing too miraculous to even believe that with all the atrocity that the Derg was putting out on the Ethiopians, that Haile Selassie was not even, not only was not a hair harm, but still had to be treated in the highest of respect, at least as a detention the emperor, let's put it that way. Now, I took the time to explain the accounts that I would have received, because family, I diligently look at this and research the situation. Eh? So what happened to Haile Selassie? What happened? Where did he go? Let's be serious now. What happened to Haile Selassie? Back on the ground, I use the example of Brother Nato Maynard, top ranking. I showed this in the previous program. One of our elders here in Antigua. And from his account, he said that the night that he heard the news, the first thing the news said was that the emperor of Ethiopia has gone missing. In fact, you know, when we just came into Rastafari, we always had this concept that Haile Selassie vanished. It's only after a while this strong concept of how he would have met his demise started to kind of raise its head. I guess it would have always been out there, but it wasn't really strong, not in our presence. So now, as a historian, you would have come across, listen to this, the first account given of anything relating to Haile Selassie was that he was in the operation room, getting an operation for prostate cancer, some kind of prostate something. And that is what happened to him. He came to an end there. The doctor, his doctor, that would have been taking care of him, his report was that he knew nothing of that. Now, that was the first report, eh? Now, family, please, let's just be, I want us to be rational thinkers. I'm not making this up. That was the first official report, outside of him disappearing. The first word that had anything to do with him not being alive was that prostate operation business. And his doctor denied that. His own son, Asfa Wasson, was the one that highlighted that the doctor said he had nothing to do with that and he knows not of that. All right. It's not a Rasta story now, and Rasta not gonna give that story there. Good. Now, the next big story now is Mengistu suffocating the king. And I think you would have read this in the book, The Pale Fox. To me, I don't know no other story, you know, is that the emperor disappeared, which was the first account. The first account was the emperor disappeared. Then the next account, which is considered the first, okay, now we know what happened, account, was that the prostate operation business, of which the doctor said nothing goes so. That has gone in the rubbish. Nobody uses that anymore. Why? Because we know exactly what happened. Mengistu suffocated. So now the only, and bury him in his office. So the only accounts, family, you can throw away the operation one. because the whole world don't say, well, that's not how it goes. Because those who wanted to find some way to exit the king have found another excuse. So forget about the operation. That's not how it really went. We have the truth now. Mengistu is who suffocated him. So what about the account that he just disappeared? No, you believe that. Come on, that these things doesn't happen. Yes, Mengistu suffocated him. This is Haile Selassie. What a man can just disappear off of the world scene without any fanfare like that? Who can disappear so? And not just who, the King of Kings, the father of Africa, the head of the Organization of African Unity, the man that gets the highest seat wherever he goes. He just disappeared. And everything quiet and nobody have nothing to say and we just move on. All right. So now Yogi Raj now comes and say that 7 years after he meet Haile Selassie in England. And this is why I was telling my good brother Uncle Madrid that as Rastafari, I cannot see why any one of us should even mount an argument about Haile Selassie and him not being alive. Not unless we are gapping somewhere in our knowledge and understanding. They have people on the planet. They have people in Cuba. They have people in India and in China that born before 1892 and they're still alive. This is Haile Selassie, this is my King of Kings that never fail us. He never fail us. And we just don't know what happened to him. Why? Why should I run for the first option to say my king dead? Why? Why? This is not even 10,000 years after. This is yesterday's news. Yesterday. I'm telling you about a brethren of mine that was a younger man when the king disappeared. And he telling me what the news say. He's still alive. He's still here. He don't go nowhere. This is yesterday's news. So I'm telling you, Rastafari, whether you think I wrong or right, I hold it firm to Haile Selassie the first, still being with us in flesh. If you can prove me otherwise, that's up to you. I know you ain't got no account except what a man named Mengistu suffocating him. Why should I believe? What madness would make me just turn my back on my emperor? And nobody can prove it. Whether I wrong or right, what madness would come into my head? And I talking about myself. I ain't saying nobody mad if they think so. I talking about me. For me to think so, that's madness in my... Because I know who the King of Kings is. Yeah, I have great comprehension of that. And not because he slip out the Mengistu hand and nobody know where he is and see him since. But the yogi say he see him 7 years after. All right. Now, I want us to take a listen to Mr. Mengistu. This is an interview he would have done. There's some music in the background. So it's not the original. But he would have been asked about the reality of him, taking out the emperor. The conversation here, even a lot of them talking here, we don't even talk, sir. You don't even use the emperor name with them things, But just true, we try to have a conversation that everybody understands. All right, here what Mengistu say here now. And let me give thanks to the man, Jajobe, for the link.
We didn't kill Haile Selassie. It's not true. I've heard that I myself have killed him personally. I have never killed anyone in my life. I have been in a very battlefield. I have given ordered map out to the tactic and strategy, but I myself didn't stop anybody. But I have heard that I have killed him and I buried him in my office, which is entirely untrue and very sad story. We didn't kill Haile Selassie.
No, I mean, for those who would see it, I mean, every one of us have some level of the ability to judge character and things, and well, again, not that Mengistu is, because Mengistu, the genocide that he overlooked is considered, I think, the 5th worst genocide in African history. So it's not as if, he's some kind of confident. He's a star witness here for sure, though. And, you could just see from the body language, even though he's chuckling, like, I mean, like, you could see he kind of chuckling off. I've even heard I myself was the one that, now he said he never killed nobody, which I must say that's kind of questionable, but he went on to explain that he has given many orders, he's on the battlefield. He has even mapped out how strategically how things are going to get done. And obviously he gave the order. So I don't think he's saying he didn't do it, but it was done, because the first thing he said is that, no, we didn't kill Haile Selassie. Just so he said, no, we didn't kill Haile Selassie. So I want you to hear it properly again, so you understand where we're coming from here.
We didn't kill Haile Selassie. It's not true. I've heard that I myself have killed him personally. I have never killed anyone in my life. I have been in a very battlefield. I have given ordered map out to the tactic and strategy, but I myself didn't stop anybody. But I have heard that I have killed him and I buried him in my office, which is entirely untrue and very sad story.
No. I myself, I would never believe I would be sharing a chocolate with Mengistu. But what I'm saying now, so it's obvious straight up again that story there, to me, that story there can go to rest. I'm talking about the story of Mengistu being the one that would have brought the king to such an end. So that swept aside. The one with the prostate operation, that gone aside too. Even those that brought that up say, no, that's not relevant anymore because we have a new one. And Mr. Mengistu denying that. Okay, good. What else story we have to use now? Is there any more? I don't know of any more. Do you know any more? Differently than the king just disappeared, which was the first account. Does anyone, Rastafari, any one of you, have any authentic account that you can prove that the emperor dead? Just asking. I ain't vexed with you, and I just want to know. Okay. I didn't think so. This is the King of Kings, eh? You don't have to add to him. You don't have to put no S on his chest, because he don't have it. Is he named Selassie? That's why the S for. That's why the other fella have on a cape. Is who is he move with the Kaaba? The real, who they imitate Darth Vader from. Hmm? And we can go all the way into these things here. We don't have to add, we don't have to make it more than what it is. Let's just deal with the emperor as the emperor. And for the emperor, I mean, top technician, tactician, military strategist, martial artist, the most coolest, calmest. Who, man, come on, who you can put above the emperor man, the amount of movies you watch when you feel the hero was about to come to his end. You don't even know how he get out of that cell or how he get out of that thing and how he get out of that thing. So for the emperor to give them people a slip, Haile Selassie, for he to give them a slip, and you just don't see him since in big old Ethiopia that have so much crevice and corner, that have tribes that people never see. I'm sorry, family. I can't join those of you who have given up on my emperor. Haile Selassie live forevermore. Give thanks. Life giver and the keeper of life, Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge presents an international homeschool program that offers African heritage, biology, astronomy, language arts, yoga, and much more. Our classes are created with the young ones in mind, and we cater to youths from kindergarten to high school. Children love our colorful and very animated lessons, while parents recommend it to friends and family. Contact us for a free preview and see for yourself why investing in the international homeschool program will be of great benefit to you and your young ones. Bless you.